Hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Clunkers. I'm Jim.
And I'm Lydia, and we are fixing the South one clunker at a time. So how you want to tell them this one?
I guess just rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay. Everybody, meet Lois, the 1965 Thunderbird. The first few videos that we put out on our channel was about a 1965 Thunderbird that we resurrected from the backwoods of the backwoods. We paid a whopping $60 for old Petey, but old Petey has been missing practically everything. So we had to set old Petey aside because we wanted to get working on another project while we've been looking for parts for him. Along the way of looking for those parts, we came across this bad girl right here. Oh, AKA Lois. I don't know if Lois is really a bad girl name or not. We're going to say that it is. So while we were looking for some parts, I found this on Facebook Marketplace. Jim and I kind of went back and forth of, do we even want to go look at it? And as y'all know, whenever you go look at something, you're either A, going to go look at it and just drive there and come back, or B, you're going to load the trailer up. About a 99.8% answer of, yes, we're going to be coming home with this car. So whenever Jim said we could go look at it, I just ran outside and hooked the trailer up with wishful thinking, because I've actually kind of fallen in love with these Thunderbirds now that I've had to do some research into trying to find different parts for Petey. So one thing that was really cool that my uncle mentioned to me after seeing our first few videos on Petey was that my grandpa actually owned different Thunderbirds, some 70s and 80s with the convertible tops. So it's going to be kind of cool to own a Thunderbird that we're going to be able to restore, hopefully sooner, I got to talk Jim into it first, then with Petey. Petey just has a lot of work and we'll get there, but in the meantime, y'all meet Lois.
Now I have to say, what really got my attention about Lois to begin with is the owners posted pictures with tons and tons and tons of duplicate parts. And at that time, that was my primary focus, was to get a bunch of extra parts for Petey. Now the original owners didn't want to just sell off the parts. She belonged to an elderly couple, and they had hopes of restoring her, and it actually began some of the restoration, the tearing apart of the interior and things like that, gathering up all the parts that they would need to put Lois back together. And then, unfortunately, both of them started having some health issues. That sometimes happens, and their dreams of putting Lois back on the road got put to bed. Now, with the research we've done so far, it appears that Lois was a two-owner. She's been off the road since 1992. As you can tell with this last expired inspection sticker in the window. Now, it originally came from way up in North Texas, close to the Oklahoma Panhandle area, in that vicinity somewhere. And the elements were really good to her. I mean, she's got the original paint. She's got everything that she needs. And it's got a few little rusty spots here, there, and yonder, but there's not a bunch of rust holes. There's not, I mean, she's solid. And the odometer says, now look, the odometer says 45,000 and a few miles on her. Now that might, in all actuality, be 145. I don't know. But you know, it's so hard to tell when these cars get that old. Now, if you look at the pedals don't show wear from a high mileage vehicle. There's a lot of things on here that tell me, well, it may have more miles than that. But then you see other aspects of her and you realize it very well could be a 45K car.
Now, y'all, whenever we went to actually go get this and start loading things up, it was approximately 100 degrees. And we were like, hey, this is not going to be awful, you know? It's just going to be a process. And then it kept going. Then he kept bringing box after box after box.
And the heat kept climbing and climbing and climbing. That's probably, I don't know. I mean, that's got to be one of the high top 10s of hot that I have ever been. There was no wind, and it was just consistently baking. I'm telling you, it was so hot, I'd have gave $1,000 for a drink of water. It was bad.
Yeah, that was rough. So we actually just kept loading stuff up, and he said, you know I've got some parts in here, I got some parts in here, so we actually have no clue what we have, but we're pretty sure we have about, what, 4 of everything?
It's looking
Maybe
that way.
that's a little dramatic, but it seriously is looking that way.
There's at least 3 of some things I know for a fact, because I've laid eyeballs on them.
So first thing we're gonna do is just start getting this car emptied out and seeing what we actually have to work with and kind of going from there. But the other really good thing whenever he started bringing us parts was, I'll show you. For example, the back seats are the original back seats, and they're in this good of condition. He had everything wrapped up in blankets. He had took the time to keep everything so clean and nice.
And a lot of this stuff, it only just needs a good cleaning. I mean, it is remarkable. I think the thing that really gives us shell shock is we did Petey first, and the condition he was in. I mean, there was a half a yard of dirt in the floor panels on Petey. I mean, it was a completely different deal.
Petey really has made everything else seem so much better than it probably really is to other people.
Now, in my opinion, reupholstered interior, you got the newest materials, the latest and greatest, and I think that's really cool. But on the flip side, if you can keep something that was original to the car, I mean, you got to think about it. That interior was built in 1965, and it has survived till now. That just gives it a really high cool factor to me. Just the condition of the sheet metal on the floor pans of this car speaks volumes about how much it was taken care of. I mean, they're almost free from fault. They are super clean. I mean, some places got a little bit of discoloration as far as where surface rust is starting, but there's just little to no sheet metal damage anywhere on here. And I think Lydia's right. I mean, this is a specimen to have reborn. And here alone, both of these doors are this way. This is reason 750,000 that I do believe it was a low usage car. I mean, that doesn't lie. Over time, overused, wears these hinges out, and they'll start getting that bump, you know, that boom, boom, to get it to close. Not this one. This is one of our all-time favorite parts, opening the trunk. You never know what you're going to get whenever you do the grand opening of a trunk, especially on one of these old cars. I mean, you could put a whole baseball team in here.
Now, we knew we had put some parts in here, but we really, at that point, were just so ready to stop literally loading parts that we weren't even assessing what we had. And man.
Wow.
Okay. Well, start unloading, honey.
Where did that come from? Did you load that up? That's a whole instrument cluster.
And what's crazy is I actually think the one in it's fine and it works. So.
That is so wild. That's just like these kick panels and stuff, you know. On the later vehicles, all of this is plastic. So it gets beat up. Now this car does have some plastic parts on it, and some of them are cracked, but there's replacements like that right there. But that's one of the cool things about these old cars. There's so much sheet metal on them. I guess that's why they were so heavy. What makes this in particular really cool is because the owners of this thing, they weren't just trying to fix it up to get it on the road to drive. Their ambition was to completely restore. So there are so many original OEM parts. I mean, it just kind of makes your head spin.
So here's our overview of the trunk. It can actually hold stuff, unlike Petey. Poor Petey.
It's even got the instructions to change your tire. And that's just paper. You know, that's not plastic or anything. And that has survived. So you know it's been in a pretty well controlled climate situation.
All right, y'all. So here is where we need to kind of make a decision of what we are going to do. As y'all know, we are officially less than 2 months away from the car show that is the Route 66 Springfield, Illinois International Car Show. So we were originally doing our 1990 Chevy stepside, and we were redoing it. We're actually in the process right now of trying to get that done in time. And don't get me wrong, the car show has so many different options for literally any kind of car possible. So it's not that that wouldn't fit in. However, we started Cajun Country Clunkers with a Thunderbird, so we feel, let me rephrase that. So I feel that it's only right to kind of put our truck project aside and start working on this Thunderbird.
So we found ourselves kind of at an impasse, right? We already have the Chevrolet Silverado tore down, but when we pulled the motor, transmission, got everything out of the way, we seen where the frame had been broken all the way in two on the front side, right in front of the motor mounts. Now, in all actuality, 100% transparency, I could fix that within 2 hours. That's the truth. I could cut that out, weld that back in. The problem is, though, is we set that up as close to a deck system, as you call it, that I could come up with, getting everything leveled, the laser, the whole 9 yards, pie tape, no stretch, and the measurements are not measuring. So with that being said I'm sure there's a frame shop out there with a jig that can get it really, really close. My fear is, not that it's a real fear, but I just don't want to build this truck to take to the car show and drag and put in the woods. I want that truck to be my daily driver. It's a truck that I've always wanted. I want to know what it's like when it goes together. And whenever we go down the road, I don't want the front end to be running over here and the rear end like this. You're going down the road like a sidewinder. And that's what I'm fearing is going to happen. And I'll say this. The reason I say this is Lydia was actually following me one time, and she said that, hey, the truck looks like the rear end is further to the right than the front end. And I was like, well, you know, it might need a little front end alignment or something. Well, it obviously did, but we didn't really know why.
To what extent? Let me show you.
Right, exactly. So now, shifting gears, don't want to wear you out with all the details, but this car, yeah, it would be a great restoration project. It really would. But the more we look at it, as far as the body goes, it really looks like it just needs freshened up, paint, reassembled, like meticulously, one thing at a time, make sure it works. If we put a light back in, make sure the bulb is appropriate, and just a really clean, put back together, because it's in good shape, really good shape. Now, the only thing that's going to be a deciding factor is we have done nothing with the power plant. We don't even know for sure that this thing runs or runs well. It could start and be blowing oil. We don't know. But if it starts and it runs well and it doesn't have any obvious knocks, signs of things that we're just going to have to completely tear into, I think this might be a better option with the short time crunch that we have in front of us.
So Jim's going to start digging into the motor, and I'm going to get, you heard this right, the rest of the stuff unloaded out of the bed of the truck, because it literally would all not fit into the car. So, bring y'all along for that.
Hey, look, and to answer your question, we are looking for a frame that somebody doesn't want a fortune for that's in pretty good shape, but I am not trying to promote Lydia to find it, because we'll end up with a whole nother vehicle when all we need is parts.
We got a steal of a deal on this, okay?
Now, this is going to kind of be the deal maker or breaker if we end up moving forward with this project right now or not. Well, the hood opens. Now, I've looked in here, but that is as far as I've gone. And honestly, for what we ended up giving for all of this stuff, I really didn't care if the motor actually ran or not. I'm hoping that we can get it to run, but you know, if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world, because just the way the car looks, you know, it looks like it's not been abused a whole lot. So if we can get it up and going, that'll just be a bonus. That'll be one less thing that I have to rebuild if it's in good enough shape. So first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and see if it's stuck, if it's froze up. Just by looking at it, it don't look like it would be, but I'm not going to stuff a battery on here and try to start rolling it over and take a chance of it having a galded cylinder or something, or one cylinder stuck. I'd rather have the opportunity to unstick that by hand.
Okay, but whenever you do go to put that battery on, check this out. This is brand new.
Oh my God. Is that a battery tray?
Sure is. Sits right in there.
They legitimately thought about everything.
Hopefully. We haven't got there yet. We don't know that officially, but
The battery
it is
tray
looking
is the
good.
worst thing that I've seen so far, and that's just because of the acid in the battery.
Or is it the best thing that you've seen so far because we got a brand new one in hand that's usually like, what, around probably $100?
Yes, at least. I'm gonna see if I can get a socket on this crank and give it a little quick turn. Hopefully. There's not a whole lot of real estate in here to get your ratchet on it. I might have to do the whole put some tension on the belt trick. That's an awful lot of motor in such a small space. Let's see. Well, I think I got it on there. I got it started anyway. I need a socket that's not 12 foot long. Probably actually be easier through the bottom.
What'd you say?
I said, guess what?
What?
The motor's not froze up.
Oh, well, that's looking promising.
Yep, I'll try to get a full rotation on it. It feels a little stiff, but I mean, it's rolling right on over. There we go. Well, we made a full rotation with the motor. Now I'm gonna go on to the next thing. Now it's gonna be a tall order to expect this whole points and condensers firing system to still work. But I think what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and do that whole thing. You never know until you try. I'm gonna hope for the best. I'm gonna stuff a battery on here. And, you know, this wire looks like it's not too old. So, you know, who knows? Somebody might have been tinkering with this thing and kind of keeping it running every once in a while. I mean, the motor feels really good. It was kind of stiff when I first took off with it, but it freed up really good after I started ratcheting on it a little bit. So let's see if we can get her to turn over.
All right, we have officially unloaded everything. There's actually a full dash as well that has not had one tear in it, and some different manuals, plus just some other little parts and pieces that we've already put up because they were inside the cab of our truck. So we had to get those took out of there. But y'all, this is going to be like shopping at Thunderbird R Us.
Well, the fuel line's disconnected and has a bolt in it. Highly full barrel.
Somebody order a battery?
Yes,
Ready?
indeed.
All right. Here we go.
Highly full banger. Look, this one ain't even froze up like the one on Old Petey was. I guess what I'm going to do is just go ahead and stick a boat tank on here because ain't no telling what decade that gas is from. Of course, it might not matter, you know. We might have a whole situation to where the old carburetor is stopped up, or who knows. Floats might be stuck. We might have all kinds of issues with it, but maybe not. Might cause, look, no sparky. That's a good sign. Or is it? All right, boat tank. I'm going to squirt a little gas in here just to give it a little head start. See if it'll pop off. Might not, but it might. Now I got 2-cycle gas mixed up in here, which is a 51 ratio of 2-cycle, 2-stroke oil. And if it does fire and does decide to take off, at least it's going to get a little lubrication in these upper cylinders. Well, there we go. Whoa, hey, that's just about enough. Let's see here. Man, this hose is stiff. I'll have to get my little spreading tool. Anytime you have a hose that is really, really close, but not quite there, so what I do is take a pair of needle nose pliers, shove it in there as far as you can, and then give it a little stretch. This one ain't wanting to stretch. Stuff's tough. Well, that should be good enough just to try it. See if we can squirt a little. I guess I should have filled the bowls up first. I hear it going in there now. Can you hear it? What's the odds of this thing starting? What do you think?
I'm going to say a solid 87.4%.
87 point is, I'm assuming that's because you bought it.
Absolutely. Hey, we bought it. We bought it.
Yeah, we bought it.
Actually, no. Actually, you know what? I take that back. You bought the truck. I bought Lois here.
Y'all check this out. This is the original keys, 1965. The ignition's not in the original location, but hey, we're not splitting hairs here. All right, here we go. No freaking way. No way. It ain't even smoking. Did it smoke any when it started?
Not at all. Hey, you didn't tell us what percent you thought it was going to be. Cheater, you waited till after.
Well, I didn't even check the firing. I didn't know if we were getting spark, nothing, so I didn't even want to step out on a limb. I figured we would just try it. I never dreamed that it would just kick right off.
So we did check the fuel gauge, and it's showing that it ain't got no gas in it. So
Ain't got no gas in it.
It ain't got no gas in it.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim knocked on the tank, and she sounded rather hollow. So what we're going to do is we are going to put some gas in the tank and see if we can get it to run without using the boat tank, and just try to get it running on its own using its own tank. Maybe we can take a stroll around the yard. You think?
I'm pretty jazzed up about it now. I cannot believe that it started up like that.
You just got to have a little faith.
Man, I've got a lot of faith, but you know, these parts are old. It's been sitting around for a month of Sundays. That stuff, I don't know, maybe that's a sign. Oh. Well, yesterday evening, after we got this thing fired off, we were pleasantly surprised at what we came up with. But one thing that was happening is we would hit the key and it would start. It ran really rough, and if you try to get it anything over an idle, it would die. So I held the choke in and I could get it a few RPM, so it told me that it was a fuel-related problem and it wasn't getting enough fuel. So we couldn't stand it. We had to jump right in, pull the carburetor off, and give it a good cleaning. Now, we didn't overhaul the carburetor or anything. We just took it out, blew out the jets, cleaned the bowls out, slapped it back together. But whenever we had the carburetor off, we did find the significant problem. And the problem was the actual base gasket under the carburetor was not the right gasket. It was actually opened a little bit into the coolant reservoir cell. It was causing the motor to pull vacuum away from the carburetor and let the fuel air mixture get all crazy and not operate properly. But after we got it put back together, had to build a new gasket out of some scrap plastic material we had laying around. It ended up working pretty good. So as luck would have it, the fuel tank was almost dry, so we didn't have a lot of cleaning out to do there. We were able to put some gas back in there, put a little chem tool in there, some B12, some Berrymans. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We got the fuel pump primed, and we got it pumping fuel all the way up to this carburetor. In addition to that, we found a few little vacuum leaks and vacuum hoses that were open-ended. We got those blanked off, and we got it where it's idling a little bit better, just a little bit smoother. Now, of course, this thing's been setting up for a month of Sundays. It's going to take it a little while to come back around, but we're definitely heading in the right direction. Now we're to the point where we're dangerously close for being able to take Lois for her first test drive in a bunch of years. But before we jump into that, I want to show y'all this gasket in case you ever run into this issue before. I'll have to say, it's the first time that I've ever actually encountered this exact problem. Now, if you'll see on this gasket, it has these triangle slots, and that is an open port underneath this gasket that this gasket needs to seal off. If you see this complete triangle here, but you can't see the triangle here. Well, from this point to about right here, this triangle is actually open and robbing vacuum from the carburetor, which would have been pulling through this spot right here. So what we had to do here is build another gasket and continue out this triangle and come back to make sure we got all the orifices sealed up.
Before we take Lois for her first ride, we're going to be checking all these fluids, making sure that we are not doing any damage that we shouldn't be. So I'm going to go ahead and first and check with the power steering. I'm going to check the oil, check the transmission. This looks rather dry. That's not very promising. Oh yeah, this is dry as a bone. We need power steering fluid for sure, Jim Wayne.
I got you covered. Look at here. Somebody done been to the Gentral. Hey.
Okay.
The Gentral's got all the good things now. Look at there. They have. Look at that transmission fluid. Specifically for old Ford cars. Ain't that something?
Dollar General stepping her up. Okay, so we're going to be putting some of the power steering fluid in. And as you can see, we clearly suspected that it needed some transmission fluid. So I'm going to check that real quick. Jim Wayne, you want to put that power steering fluid in for me? For us? Or for Lois?
Yeah, I was looking for a funnel. Here it is. What's the tranny looking like?
That it's at the L, loser level.
Well, I'm sorry to report to the team here, but I have massively overflowed this power steering pump. At least we know it's full.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Rather too much than not enough. Here you go. Yeah, I'll put this rag around there. There we go. Look at it.
Beautiful.
The thing about this power steering pump on this car is, yeah, I don't like to overfill anything, but you got to think about it. The windshield wipers works off the power steering pump. It's all a hydraulic assembly. You know what I mean? So by the time we start this car up, it may or may not be low. I'll have to recheck it later, but you never know.
Lois has probably not been filled to the brim in a long time. Poor Lois. I bet it's gonna take one more, huh? I
don't know. It's probably pretty close. If it was registering on the bottom end of the scale, that's probably one car to probably do it.
Full.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Now probably the really accurate way to measure that would be to start the car, put it in neutral, let it circulate while you're checking the dipstick and all that kind of stuff. But if we've got fluid on the stick, that means it should pull us down the road if the transmission's working.
Well, we're not going across the country yet. We just need to see what we're working with whenever we start her up and start going.
Hey, are you excited?
I am. You know what I'm even more excited about? This is my bucket seat.
Oh, I mean, the bucket seats in this thing are really nice. The factory bucket seats are one thing, but the aftermarket bucket seats, that's a whole different level.
Now this alternator belt is loose and completely wore out. We don't have any more room to actually tighten it up. It doesn't have any more room for the adjustments, but we're not gonna be whipping her around all crazy, driving all nuts. We're just gonna see if she's running. So it'll work for now, but definitely gonna change her out.
Another unexpected thing. This oil looks brand new. Look. And we have not changed this. We haven't done anything. Just pull the stick. Chances are, right before this baby got parked up, somebody changed the oil in it. Because I know this motor didn't run that clean. Check the coolant. Oh yeah, we still got some in there. And I did actually check this coolant yesterday, and it was a little bit low. I didn't put coolant in it because we're going to flush it anyway. I just topped it off with water. It's still there, so if we do have any leaks, they're not bad ones. The last thing that I really want to do is hook the battery up, get it fired back up, let it run a little bit, let it get warmed up, and test it to see if that alternator is actually charging. Extremely doubtful, but I'm still curious.
$12.34.
It is not charging. Surprise, surprise. But that's okay. I would have never in a million years dreamed that it would be running this smooth, this quick. I didn't even put a carburetor kit in it. No jets, no nothing. It's all stuff with a gasket we made out of some plastic sheeting. I mean, it wants to run. It wants to go. She's ready to get back out on the road. Look at that. I mean, it's pretty smooth. I hear a little bit of something there like it might be wanting to, probably has spark plug that's, you know, halfway fouled. We ain't even pulled none of them. I ain't even looked at the point. The points might be almost burnt.
Can I set her up?
Let's do it. Better do it before our battery dies.
We need like half-size buckets.
Hey, check this steering wheel out.
Okay, now that's cool.
That's stinking cool. All right.
Let's do it.
Maiden voyage. Come on, Lois. Hey, that feels like an air conditioner, that cool breeze going
It
through.
really does.
God, this thing steers so easy. Look, one finger. I didn't know we was getting a luxury car.
What? A luxury car. Yeah. Something like that.
So luxurious.
Okay, but the whole point is that we're driving it. It's going.
And it's really smooth. I mean, we haven't shifted or nothing yet, you know, but like the brakes work good. The steer's really easy. Power steering. Hey,
Heck yeah.
we're going places.
Literally? We're going
Literally.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Whoa, easy, girl. Want to get off sideways. Whee! Bucket seats, no seat belts. Oh yeah. Up the hill like a boss, riding the brake the whole time. That might be because I got it idled up a little bit too much, you know. I feel like that, what's that cartoon, The Incredibles? The guy gets in that little bitty car.
Like.
Well, in full transparency, when we went and picked this car up, I had zero ambitions on changing midstream and going with this car to put in this car show and be involved in this venture that we have going on.
Oh, I 100% did.
The more we mess with it, the better it's getting. I mean, it shifts like a dream, drives like it drives like a land yacht, but I mean, it is super smooth going down the road. I mean, you just can't buy stuff like that anymore. It's amazing how well that thing actually drives.
So I think officially we are going to shift gears just for these last less than 60 days that we have left to get something that we can bring to the car show, to be in the parade. And we are going to be shifting gears from the Chevrolet pickup that we were fixing to do to old Lois here. Now, that is still going to be on standstill. We're going to see kind of what leftover parts we have from Lois and see what we can kind of piece together for PD whenever we get done, because there is going to be a lot of leftovers for him as well. And I'm kind of excited to see what's going to be left over for him as well.
Not only to mention the things that we're learning about these cars as we're working on this one. And the thing about it is what's exciting to me is you can take something like this, and if you're not scared of working, you'll put your hands in the grease, get your hands on it. If it's something that you don't know, get on the internet and search it. There's a million people out there that is just dying to give somebody advice. Some of it good, some of it bad, but deduce from it what you will. What we want to do with old Lois here is we want to take her from the girl that's got to sit by herself at the cafeteria table to where everybody wants to sit with her at the cafeteria table. You know what I'm saying? That's perspective.
So y'all make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and we will see y'all on the next episode of Lois, our current clunker.
This is going to be a great one. Make sure you share it with all your friends. I don't care if it's 2 of them or 200 of them. They all need to see it.